Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today for Monday, August 22nd. I am Marco D'Angelo sitting in for the Prez. He is Teddy Covers. We've got a big show today, guys. We've got Bryan Leonard. He's going to take a look at the Angels in Tampa Bay game today. He's also going to look at the big one in New York, the Mets and Yankees. Jimmy Adams is going to stop by. He is going to take a look at a season win total in college football. And he's going to preview St. Louis, Chicago Cubs for us. And we've got Ronald Cabang. You know him as UCapper. He is going to take a look at the Rangers-Twins game today. And we're going to go to the Premier League and take a look at Crystal Palace versus Manchester City this weekend. But before we get into the show, Teddy, what have we learned this weekend? Other than a lot of alcohol was consumed in Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a Jimmy Adams sighting this morning. Hopefully we'll get him. But, when it comes to Monday morning, when everyone's been in Vegas all weekend, nobody's listed any better than probable. And there's a whole lot of questionables out there. Look, it was a crazy weekend. We had a big dinner on Thursday night with all the Wager Talk and Sports Memo crew, stayed out late. I had a couple people over on Friday night, stayed up late. The meet and greet Saturday night at the Westgate, it was packed. There were tons of people there, but not so many that we didn't have time to talk to anyone. It's kind of like the perfect amount of attendance. I met all kinds of cool peeps from all over the country. Canada, too. Irish John and his wife Mary were there. Mr. Lucky, ABS. There's too many to name, but literally dozens and dozens of guys. And I was amazed at how many women watch and listen to the show. I got to give Sharapan grief. That's always fun. Jimmy Adams and Adam Trigger and McGinnis and Dr. Chuck, all the young guns were out in force. I was impressed with every one of them, young and hungry. It was a fun time. I'm voting the future Wager Talk meet and greets. Let's not do it March Madness. So we can do two, but we got to do one before football season because this weekend was great. It was a fun time. Put that on your bucket list for next time. Marco?
Absolutely. Hey, Teddy, you gotta give a special shout out. I know you mentioned them, but come on, Mary and Tony Finn. Tony Finn has a super fan, and I was in amazement. And when Tony finally showed up, she went nuts, and it was just so fun talking with her and her husband. To me, they had me cracking up.
So there was more than one female super fan for Tony, but there will be no bashing Tony on this show today. Tony Finn saved my ass over the weekend more than once. And look, from a service standpoint, I had a terrible weekend. I had a terrible week. It was not anything to brag about. It was a nightmare. The only good thing about this week was that we got to have a little bit of fun, and hopefully it's over from a betting standpoint. I couldn't get anything right. Boy, when it came down to the coin flip games, I kept picking heads. The coin flips kept landing tails. It was really frustrating that way, Marco.
Fun time. And I thank everybody that did show up. We appreciate you guys
Very
supporting
much.
Wager Talk. Both, cappers, all the behind the scenes people, and of course the fans. And, whether you buy picks or not, the people that come up and just say they learn so much from watching our shows that, it's humbling, Teddy, how many people, they cite all the shows they watch. And I mean, people are investing several hours of their day watching our stuff. And it really does make us feel good and makes us want to do even more. So thanks to all of you guys. Let's bring in Mr. Bryan Leonard. He was there on Saturday as well with his lovely wife,
Marco,
Renee. Yes.
Let me just jump in real quick, because one thing we had a bunch of gift bags. Everybody got a gift bag that came there with the brand new Wager Talk merch from the merch store that's getting put together. And I have the prototype of the coffee mug right here. So check it out. It's cool. Thank you, Missy, so much for putting this together. And again, there'll be lots of stuff available for anyone that wants to, walk around town repping with their Wager Talk gear. So check out the merch store coming soon at WagerTalk.com. Now let's bring in.
All right. Thank you, Teddy. And let's bring in Mr. Bryan Leonard. Bryan, did you survive the weekend okay?
I did. It was funny. I'm 7 years older than my wife is, but by the time we got back after the meet and greet for 2 days in a row, because Teddy had his nice get together, she was so exhausted. She just went to bed, and that was the end of it. And I outlasted my wife. It's one of the few times that happens, if you know what I mean.
I'm taking the under on how many times that happened before.
There, where can we go? But let's swing into some baseball here, Bryan. And you're going to take a look at the Angels and Tampa Bay game for us. What do you see in this one, Bryan?
Yeah, I've had a lot of success with underdogs lately, and it's working out really well. Basically, when you're playing an underdog, obviously they're an underdog for a reason, especially with the money lines. They're not expected to win, but when you make your own lines and when you do your own handicapping, you can see a line just jump off the board, and we've got a couple today in that regard that I think the lines are just too high. We're talking about the Angels and in the Rays here. Springs for Tampa has been terrific all season long. He's been very good. Davidson's come over from Atlanta. He hasn't done as well this year, but this is a guy they had a lot of faith in the past, and he's gotten off to a slow start. His walk rate is higher than his strikeout rate this year, so I can see why money has come in on Tampa Bay. Open 185 for the favorite. Now I'm seeing upwards of 225 at Caesars, who seems to jack up their favorites a lot this year. They've changed in management, I think, and don't play too many favorites over there at Caesars. So, but a lot of nice underdog prices out there right now. And I think it's value on the Angels. The Angels are being priced like they were before they got Mike Trout back. And now Mike Trout is one of the best players in Major League Baseball, and we're still seeing them in that price range, the 180s to the $2 underdogs. I like them here. If you take a look at some of the stats for this game, Davidson's one of these guys that if you take a look at his numbers on some of the things that I look at, he's been very good in certain areas and had bad luck in certain areas. You take a look at his line drive rate is okay. Everything's been okay here. His fly ball rate is less than Springs. His ground ball rate is about the same as Springs. But he's been a guy that hasn't had much luck in the BABIP department. And when you take a look at some blast rates and home runs per nine, he's a guy I'm looking to back in this range. So Tucker Davidson's a guy that I think is better than. Well, in fact, I know he's better than what he's done so far. And this is the time to jump in. The Tampa Bay's offense just isn't good enough for me to want to lay this type of price, whether it be home or the road. The Angels have been a little bit better on the road than they have been at home this year. Line's too high. Give me the Angels.
So, Bryan, I was looking at this game, and I was considering the under in this contest. You talk about Tampa's lineup. Tampa's not hitting the ball. They really aren't. And, of course, Wander Franco just got a setback. He won't be back for a little while. And it's not like the Angels are tearing off the cover off the ball. In Detroit over the weekend, they managed 4 runs in 3 games, shut out again yesterday. This is not an offense that's clicking off cylinder. Certainly, when we talk about the starting pitchers here, Springs is a guy who's been pretty darn good. And Davidson has had a couple of rough starts. But as you mentioned, a guy with some potential and some upside. Would you look at the under in this one as well as the side? Or you think the side, the big plus price on the side is the way to, obviously that's your preferred choice of the two, but is the under worth a look for you as well?
I think not only under, but Tampa Bay team total under is probably the way I would look, because you got a pitcher who's better than what his numbers are. And as you mentioned, as we both mentioned, Tampa Bay's offense has struggled. You mentioned the Tigers yesterday. That was one of our plays against Tampa Bay, a really nice payback in that one. So we've had 4 straight winning days here playing underdogs, and I've got 2 going today, and you're going to get both of them right now. So, the Angels are something I'm looking forward to tonight, and a lot of value on that team right now that they've got Trout back.
All right, well, let's talk about that second game. It's a big one in New York. You've got the Mets at the Yankees. And guys, it's not often that you see the Yankees as an underdog, period, let alone a home underdog. How are you looking at this one, Bryan?
Yeah, this one kind of surprised me. I figured that Scherzer would be the favorite here, but I was looking at maybe in the 130 range. Uh, and it's a situation for me where I think the line's just too high. You've got Max Scherzer, love Max Scherzer, major competitor. I'm sure he's going to come out fired up to face the Yankees here, but it's a situation for me. The line's just too high. Domingo Germán if you take a look at the pitchers on today's card, his BABIP is the highest on the card. He hasn't had much luck there. You take a look at fly ball percentage, and when you're playing in Yankee Stadium, that's something you always want to take a look at because they do give up a lot of home runs in this ballpark, especially for the lefties. But Max Scherzer, his fly ball percentage this year, 51.5. That is the highest on the entire card for today. But yet his home run to fly ball ratio is only 6%. He's been very lucky on those fly balls. Now he's playing in a fly ball park that I don't want. It's not Citi Field. Citi Field's you can get away with that kind of stuff. You're not going to get away with that at Yankee Stadium. Germán's a pitcher that I like better than what his numbers are. Scherzer, you got to love. But you mentioned it. The Yankees are a team that, they're not playing well, but they've been very good all season long. And you've got a team that's 43-20 on the season at home, is a substantial underdog. I thought there was plenty of value here on the Yankees.
So let me ask you this, Bryan, because the Yankees for me are on my do not touch list. If I'm playing a Yankee game right now, I am absolutely fading this team because they stink. The Yankees are what, 20? They're still 20-something games over 500. They still are on pace for the number 2 seed in the American League. And they have played legitimately bad baseball for the better part of the last 3 weeks. And one of the things I like to do is find teams with a good record that aren't playing good. And when you look at the Yankees lineup, you're scared of Judge. You're not scared of anybody else right now. You look at Germán, you go, yeah, they're not winning for him. He's no ace. You're going against Scherzer, who is an ace. It seems I guess my question is this. Do you think the Yankee slump is over? Do you think if you play the Yankees for the rest of the month, you're going to make money with that team? Because I continue to look at the Yankees and go, they're still overvalued. Even at this dog price today, they're an overvalued commodity because they're just not a good baseball team right now. What do you think?
Well, they have brought up some minor leaguers that I like it when they bring in fresh guys, and they have brought them in, and they've played pretty well since they've gotten up there. I don't want the Yankees for the rest of the season. They're going to be overvalued, but there are certain spots where you could pick them. And I'm not going to be playing the Yankees every day, but in this spot, I do like them. Just a situation for me that you have to take into account some of what they've done all season. People were thinking they're going to set records for Yankee wins. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We all saw that coming. They weren't going to play like that all season long. But right now, I think in this one game, this one instance, I think there's value on the Yankees at home.
All right, Bryan, tell our viewers what you got going over at WagerTalk. Today is $9 Monday. All plays are $9. You have anything up over there today?
You heard it. The 2 plays I just gave you were my 2 underdog plays that I put up in baseball. So I saved everybody $9. But I do have a big 5% play in Week 1 NFL, and that's up on the site right now. Don't believe those are $9, but it's still a really strong play, and I think the line's going to move on that game. So if you're looking for my 5% play, get it in football.
All right, good stuff, Bryan. Hey, we're going to step out for a quick break. When we come back, college football play in Teddy's Big Game Breakdown. That's next on WagerTalk.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Hey, folks, if you haven't downloaded the brand new WagerTalk TV app, do it right now. Free from all the app stores. You can get this content and all of our content right there on your phone. Check out the WagerTalk TV app, brand new. Please download it right now. Let's talk some college football. It's week 0 this week. Let's get into it. Illinois and Wyoming. Right now, the Illini -10. Total of 44 on the board. Look, this is going to be a down year in the Mountain West Conference. Wyoming's not going to be the only Mountain West team that I'm fading this season. And Craig Bohl, look, we love Craig Bohl. 9th year on the job. His teams are tough as nails, but they tend to be limited offensively. This team is likely to be very limited offensively. They had 2 starting quarterbacks last year. They split time in a 7-6 season, got to their 4th bowl in 6 years. But both of those quarterbacks transferred out. In fact, double-digit players transferred out of Wyoming this past offseason. Last year, all 5 starting linemen came back. This year, 4 of them are gone. The defensive line inexperienced too. The secondary graduated all 4 starters. They ranked number 129 on Phil Steele's experience chart at 131 teams. Wyoming, major losses. There aren't that many games like this in the bowl era where they travel east and face a Power 5 school. A couple in recent years, they went to Missouri and lost 40-13, straight up an ATS. They lost to Iowa 24-3. The offense didn't move the football in either of those games. The defense had their issues in both of them. This is an Illini team that covered as chalk down the stretch to close out 2021. Big blowout over Northwestern. The defense was good down the stretch. They've got quality recruits at wide receiver and tight end. We like Bill Emma's teams in the trenches. Look, I'm not convinced Wyoming's going to score in this game a whole lot. Wyoming team total under 16.5, under 17 makes a whole lot of sense. The full game under makes a whole lot of sense. But Illinois minus the 10 to me is the one that probably makes the most sense. Wouldn't argue with any of those 3 wagers. By kickoff, I might have all 3 in my pocket. I like the Illini, I like the under, and I like Wyoming team total under. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. D'Angelo.
Well, thank you, Teddy. Good stuff as always. And, our next guest, if you're not impressed with his winning record, I'm impressed that it's 9 a.m. in Vegas. He's been here all weekend, and he made it. All right, let's bring in Jimmy Adams. Jimmy, how you doing?
On Marco. I mean, it was a great time this weekend. It was fun at Teddy's. Great meeting you in person. Great seeing Teddy, and then the meet and greet was just amazing. Teddy touched on it already, but we had so many clients come out, take pictures, and just talk sports. And it was just an absolute blast.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I could not run with all these young guns that went all hours of the night. I was tapping
not
out
even close.
Early, but Jimmy, you got a couple plays for us we're going to look at. Let's start with that college football. You got a season win total that you're looking at. Tell us who it is.
Yeah, so I'm pretty high on NC State this year. I mean, this is a team that was really good a season ago. They're going to be even better this year. So they had 3 losses in 2021. 2 of the 3 were by a combined 4 points. They lose to a Miami team. They don't have to play them this year. They lose to a Wake Forest team that whose quarterback just got hurt and will probably be out. And it all starts with Devin Leary. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I don't think this guy gets enough credit. 3,433 yards, 35 TDs, and just 5 interceptions a season ago. And this Wolfpack defense had the 14th ranked scoring defense in the nation last season. They're going to be even better this year. This linebacking core, one of the best in the country for sure. So when I run down this schedule, this team's going to win double digits. They beat Clemson last year. They have to go to Clemson. I obviously marked that off as a loss, but it's not a guaranteed loss. They can absolutely, beat Clemson again. When you look at the schedule, every single game is winnable. Now, are they going to go undefeated? No, of course they're not. But, so circle October 1st on your calendar when they go to Clemson. And the juice is a little high. So I saw it at 8.5, like minus 160 or something in DraftKings. I bet it a long time ago, got a better number. So if you can get like a 9 at lower juice, I would recommend that. Because NC State is going to be a very good team in the ACC this season.
So let me ask you, because I can't find any reason to bet NC State under the total. All right. I'm not going to make a case to talk against you. But I want to ask you about the best way to bet on NC State right now. You're talking about betting them over their win total. Would you bet on them to win the conference? Is that the type of reasonably priced long shot you would look at? Can they hang with Clemson? And then, some of you talked about how Miami beat them last year and the likes. Can they hang with the big boys from the other side of the conference? What's the upside for NC State this year?
Oh, so I've already bet them to win the conference. I got them at I took them at plus 800 a while back. And I was actually going to give that out. I had that in my back pocket when I was on your podcast if we needed extra time. But, so I already took NC State plus 800. I think they are absolutely live to win this conference. 10-win team is definitely possible. I mean, 11 might be a stretch, but they can do it. I mean, this team's just going to be really good. You got Clemson, you got NC State, and I think Miami's going to be pretty good, but very high on the Wolfpack.
Good stuff there. Now let's shift gears. We got some baseball tonight that you want to take a look at. We got a little bit of a rivalry game. We got the St. Louis Cardinals and the Chicago Cubs. How are you seeing this one, Jimmy?
Yeah, so I'm going to look at the under, and it's going to be a first half under is the play here. We have two teams that are in good current form with two pitchers that are in even better current form. So, the Cardinals have won 7 straight. The Cubs have won 5 of 6. Jordan Montgomery has put together a very nice season. I thought it was a mistake for New York to trade him, and so far he's proven me right. In 3 starts since being acquired by the Cardinals, all wins, of course, we got 0 runs versus former team in his first start. We got 0 runs with 8 Ks in his next start against the Brewers, a pretty good team. 1 run with 8 Ks in his last start. So Montgomery in great current form. And then you go and you look at Drew Smiley, and he's putting up very similar numbers. No runs in 6.2. No runs with 9 Ks in 5 innings pitched. And then 2 runs last time out. So if you do the simple math, these two pitchers have allowed a combined 3 runs in their last 6 starts. So the reason this is a free play and not a client play is because the Cardinals are hitting the baseball pretty well. They're a team that I'm looking to bet on, but the price is just too high. So I'm going to recommend an under and a first half under in this game.
So yeah, you talked about St. Louis hitting. You're not kidding. 6-5-5, 13-5, 16-6 in their last 7 games. They've been impressive offensively of late. Their bullpen worn down. You're talking about a first 5, so we don't worry about that. But I guess my biggest concern is that the Cubs have actually hit the ball pretty well over the last 10 days or so. They're not getting shut down every night. Again, a good series against the Brewers, where they scored 16 runs in those 3 games with 2 overs and a push. Are you worried at all? Well, I know you're worried somewhat. But how worried are you about the state of these two offenses? Because the fact that both lineups are hitting was enough to keep me off of this under, even though we're talking first 5. We don't need to worry about the bullpens.
Yeah, so it's one of those games where it's going to be like a half unit play for me because I didn't entirely love the card today. I have one play that I like that is available, of course, for $9 for $9 Monday. And, just reiterating that the Cubs and Cardinals are hitting very well, but we do have 2 pitchers that are just in great current form, so I do think an under is worth a look tonight.
You touched on it briefly there. Jimmy, tell us about the play you do have tonight for $9. What do you got up over at WagerTalk?
Yeah, we're going to keep grinding it out in baseball. It's been a phenomenal season all year, and I have one baseball play up tonight. Preseason, I just have to touch on for 1 second, has been amazing. I am 5-0 in the preseason so far this year, and we went 80% in 2021. So I'm seeing things really well in NFL preseason. I'll have plays up later for that in this coming week. So tune in. Thanks to all the watchers.
All right. Appreciate it. Good stuff, Jimmy. And it was a pleasure finally getting to meet you in person here in Vegas. So thanks for coming to the meet and greet. And we've got one more capper for you today. Well, let's bring in Ronald Cabang. You guys know him as UCapper over at SportsMemo. Ron, how are you doing this morning? I know your head's got to be a lot clearer than most of the people at Wager Talk on a Monday morning. But how are you doing today?
Yeah, I had some time this weekend to just be off the grid, no cell service, no Wi-Fi. Like I said before the show, opposite of you guys, where you guys were just up all night drinking and partying and having fun. But a little bit of me was jealous though. I wanted to see all the people that showed up. The last meet and greet was amazing, but not everyone from Sports Memo and Wager Talk showed up. I know, Tokyo Brandon came all the way from Japan. Like, people were traveling all over the place to get there. So this one looked really amazing. So hopefully I'll be there for the next one.
Yeah, but the fact that look, I say this to everybody, whether you're a bettor, whether you're out there in viewer land, whether you're out there in listener land, whether you're a capper, all right, you spend your time with your family now. Get your weekend off the grid now, because come next week, you don't get that. So I totally get it. I got time this summer to spend with my family. You had this weekend to spend with yours. And all of you out there, spend some time with your family this weekend or next weekend, because it's not going to happen once football starts.
Exactly.
Yeah, just to expand on that, Teddy. Yeah, football followed by the start of hockey, started by college basketball and NBA. It is the next 6 months is nothing but a grind every day. All right, speaking of everyday grinds, let's get to your plays today in your first game that we have on the docket for you. Today is, and I lost my notes. Sorry, guys. Angels and, no, that was Bryan. Sorry. Help me out here, Ron. What's your first game? Sorry,
I got you.
Yeah, I'm looking at this Twins Rangers game, and primarily focusing on the total here, with both teams trending towards the under with their recent form. From a starter perspective, we have righty Sonny Gray versus lefty Cole Ragans. Gray has been pretty solid this season. He's been consistent whether he's at home or on the road, but in the last 3 games, he's been really strong. He's had an ERA of 1.72 compared to 3.11 on the season. Ragans is a young guy, only 3 starts under his belt. He gave up a run, but 0 earned in his first start against the White Sox. He got lit up by the Astros in Minute Maid Park. And in his last start, he gave up 3 earned runs to the A's in 5 innings of work. But before getting called up in AAA, Ragans had a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Now in the bigs, we're seeing 1-to-1. To me, I think there's going to be some positive regression here. We're going to see him come back to his normal numbers, in my opinion, especially with how the Twins have been struggling at the bat from the batting perspective. Putting up runs on the board against lefties at home this season, they've been struggling, especially more recently. On the season, the Twins are batting .234 while averaging 3.75 runs per game against lefties at home, while averaging over 4 per game against righties at home. On the other side, the Rangers, they struggle against righties on the road, averaging 4.4 runs per game, almost a run less than they put up against lefties on the road. If you look at their current form, it's even worse on the road against righties, batting .231 and averaging just 3.2 runs per game in their last few road games against righties. From a trend perspective, the Twins are really the drivers for this look towards the under. They've gone under in 6 of their last 7 games. Also, the Twins are 11-1-2 to the under at home versus starting left-handed pitchers when the total is greater than 7. To me, the full game under 8.5 is the play here.
Sure. I mean, we've seen 3 games so far in this series and 3 unders so far in this series, and none of them have even been necessarily that close. So it has been a low-scoring series through the first 3 games. I want to ask you real quick about the side. In general, when we're talking about $2 dogs in games where I like the under, I'm probably looking
Mm-hmm.
towards the dogs. I don't expect the favorite to put up runs in bunches. And Minnesota's lineup is just ice cold right now, and Texas's isn't. You think the Rangers are live dogs in this range tonight? They were on my short list. I didn't pull the trigger on Texas because I didn't really want to step in front of Sonny Gray. But nonetheless, I lean Rangers. Do you lean the same way, or is the sidewise is a wash for you?
Yeah, I think of it in the same angle as well, Teddy. You know, when you have a low total, or if you're expecting an under and you're expecting a low total, typically the dogs do have a better chance of at least covering the run line. But definitely live dogs, in my opinion, especially at this price when you expect like a maybe like a 3-2 type game. You already know, you never know when errors come into play, and that one extra run that you get is the difference of winning as an outright dog. So to me, I'm looking at it the same way. If I was to play this from a side perspective, the dog would be the way that I go.
Okay, let's shift gears and head to a play for this weekend. You're going to go to the Premier League, and you're going to take a look at Crystal Palace in Manchester City. How are you looking at this one, Ron?
Yeah, last time I was on WagerTalk Today, I did give out a Premier League play plus a player performance double, and both of those won. So I'm back at it again here. I want to bring in I know a lot of people know me as like an NBA capper, but I want to showcase my abilities in other leagues as well. So this game, Manchester City and Crystal Palace matchup, in their last 3 matchups between these two teams dating back to last season, these have been the scores 0-0, 2-0, and 2-0, with one of those 2-0 matches actually in favor of Crystal Palace. To start off the EPL season, Crystal Palace lost to Arsenal 0-2, then a 1-1 draw against Liverpool, then dominated Aston Villa after the half to take that last matchup 3-1. And all of Crystal Palace's loss so far this season, well, actually in the whole 2022 calendar year, none have been more than 2 goals. For Man City, they blanked their first 2 opponents, 2-0 versus West Ham, 4-0 versus Bournemouth. Then to me, a pretty surprising 3-3 draw versus Newcastle United. Looking further into Man City, only one of their last 7 matches have been decided by more than 2 goals, which was that Bournemouth match a couple weeks ago. From Crystal Palace perspective, Eberechi Eze, he's one of their young forwards, and he had a solid Premier League rookie season in 2020-2021. Most expected him to have a breakout second season, which was last year, but it was cut short due to an injury. And even though he hasn't had the stats to show it to me so far this season, he's really starting the season in really strong form. I mean, he's active, he's real quick. He's been able to get a lot of crosses. He's had opportunities to score, just hasn't really connected in some of those chances. But I expect only good things moving forward from him this season. And Zaha, he gets a lot of love from the front line here, but I believe the young legs of Edouard and Eze will be a big part of why Crystal Palace stays within 2 goals versus Man City. Possibly a 2-1 City or 2-2 draw type match, in my opinion. And you can get Crystal Palace at plus 2 goals at plus 110. So that's plus money and getting plus 2 goals in a game where I think that they could stay within 1 or even draw. I mean, there's a possibility of them even just sneaking in a crazy win out at plus 1,000. But yeah, that's the way that I'm looking. Crystal Palace plus 2.
So I want to ask you, Man City. I know nothing about handicapping the English Premier League, but nothing. So I mean, this is maybe a pretty basic question, but like in the NFL, if a team plays really well for a couple of weeks and then kind of has a blah game, the next week you kind of expect them maybe they're going to step up. And here's Man City. They played a couple of shutouts to open the season, and last time out they were blah and gave up 3 goals. Is this the spot where maybe they're going to show up and lay the smack down because they were mediocre last time out?
Yeah, there's definitely the opportunity, but 2 goals against a team in really good form currently, a team that's starting off the season with a loss and kind of going in a trajectory of upwards, in my opinion. And they got the young legs, and it's from a schedule perspective, I think Man City is getting some love just because Crystal Palace has a little bit of a rest disadvantage in this one. They have another game 3 days prior versus Man City getting a whole 6 or 7 days of rest. So there might be some of that thing where they're overlooking their opponent, right, because of that rest advantage. But in my opinion, I think these guys are young enough to not be in a disadvantaged situation as far as rest comes to play. So my opinion is Man City is probably just going to overlook this matchup here versus Crystal Palace. And 2 goals is a lot, especially in the Premier League. Edouard and Eza and Zaha, this front line, they're active and very, very strong in my opinion. It's just an overlooked spot, and you're getting 2 goals. That to me, that's easy money.
Ron, tell our viewers what you've got going at SportsMemo.
Yeah, right now I haven't posted anything. I just got back last night from camping, like I said, off the grid. But I'll be posting the 2 plays that I gave out today will be subscriber plays. But I'm hitting over 60% combined between the NFL preseason, WNBA, MLB, and the Premier League. I think my clients are up over 5,000, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 30 days. So having a really good time in the last 30 days, just seeing the board well all over the board in all sports. So coming up the NFL season, I think from December 26th, I'm around 70% on the side and totals, including the playoffs, last season and the NFL preseason. So I'm really excited for that to come up. And then obviously NBA, I'm number 1 in NBA at SportsMemo all time, and I've only been with them for about 2 years. So these next upcoming 6 months, like you said, Marco, is going to be amazing, and I'm just really excited for it.
Good stuff, Ron.
Yeah.
Good doing a show with you, and good luck this football season.
Thanks.
There it is. Ronald Cabang. After a weekend with the family, he's been seeing things very clearly of late. So, Marco, one of the joys of not having to do a show with Prez on a Monday morning is that there's no presidential address that we need the hype for. Nonetheless, there is a vice presidential address. Half the time, instead of 2 minutes on the clock, there's only 1 minute on the clock. Instead of whatever Prez wants to talk about, it's one game. Marco, bring us home, baby. What do we got?
All right, we're going to take a look at, unfortunately, I'm going to head to a game that Bryan did, but I'm looking at it a different way. And we are going to take a look at the LA Angels at Tampa Bay, and I'm going to take the Tampa Bay Rays, but I'm going to take them in the first 5 innings, and I'm going to lay the half a run. I'm looking at this one, and you got Tampa quietly has won 7 of their last 9 games, while the Angels continue to struggle 1 in 5. And as you mentioned earlier, Teddy, they only scored 3 runs or less in 5 of those 6 games. And in that Detroit series, 3 games, they only managed 4 runs against the Tigers. I've got a hot pitcher in Jeffrey Springs going for Tampa. 16 starts, ERA of 2.85, but more importantly, they're 11-5 in his starts. And here's the clincher. When the Angels are an underdog, they're just 14-35. Take Tampa Bay, lay the half a run, and it's minus 135 on a first 5-inning wager. I also have a pitcher mismatch play up at WagerTalk today for just $9. Head over there and check that out as well. Teddy, you want to bring us home?
I will absolutely bring us home. But Marco, you stayed, even though you started early, even though you started while the presidential address thing was the intro was going, you got it to 1 minute. Well done, my friend. Enjoyed it. And of course, Marco will be back co-hosting with me tomorrow when we'll do Wager Talk Today. Once again, every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon back east. I want to thank UCapper Ronald Cabang. Of course, we want to thank Bryan Leonard. And let's not forget our middle guest at all when it comes to who's our middle guest today. Jeez Louise, Jimmy Adams managed to wake up and get on the show, which we appreciate so much. Thanks to you out there in listener and viewer land for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us on Wager Talk Today. Between now and tomorrow's show, come on, let's enjoy the games. And good luck.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.